So what we're going to do is we're going to use our backdoor, the normal HTTP reverse meterpreter backdoor that we created in the first video when we created an undetectable backdoor. We're going to use that and inject that as a service so that it runs every time the target person runs their computer and tries to connect back to us every certain amount of time. So to do this, first of all, I'm just going to Control-C this. And then I'm going to background the current session. So we've seen that before. You can do background and I can still interact with that session on number 1. And I'm going to use a module. So this is like the multi-handler module that comes in with Metasploit, and it's called exploit Windows local persistence. Then I'm going to show its options to see what we need to configure. So you can see here, we have similar options to what we've seen with the Metasploit service. So the first thing is the amount of seconds that the target will try to connect back to us, so the interval, and I'm going to keep that to 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds, the target computer will try to connect back to me. Now the exe name is the name that will show up under the processes where the connection is coming back from. So I'm going to set that to browser to make it less detectable. So we're going to set the exe name to browser.exe, and then the path where the payload or the backdoor will be installed, I'll leave that the same. I'll leave the reg name, the registry entry the same. Now this is very important. You need to specify which session to run this exploit on. And as you can see now, we were using session number 1. That's our meterpreter session. And if I do sessions, L, it'll list all the available sessions, and we can see that it's ID number 1. So what we need to do is we need to set our session here to number 1. So I'm going to do set session to 1. Okay, and the startup, we're going to leave it for the user person, for the user privileges. Now let's show the options. So browser and the session number 1, that's all good. Now we need to do one thing, which is the most important thing, is to specify the payload that will be injected as a service. So to do that, we're going to do a show advanced, and we haven't seen this before, so every module has advanced options that we didn't have a look on before. So show advanced will show you advanced options that you can set up for this particular module. So when I run this, you'll see I'll get so much more options, and the one that we're interested in is this one. So it's called exe custom, which means that we're going to use a custom exe to run and inject into the target computer as a service. So I'm going to set my exe custom to var www html backdoor.exe. As you remember, I had that running on backdoor. I had that stored in var www html backdoor.exe. So I'm going to hit enter, and I'm just going to do show advanced again to make sure that it was set up properly, because sometimes I misspell things. And it's var www html backdoor.exe. So that's perfect. Everything is good to go. I'm going to exploit this. And that will upload var www html backdoor.exe on the target computer using the session that we specified, session number 1. As you can see now, it's been uploaded and installed. And one important thing that you need to keep in mind is this resource file, because you can use this to clean up and delete the backdoor once you're done. So if you don't want the backdoor anymore on the target computer, you can use this file to delete that backdoor. So I'm going to store that in a leaf pad here so that I can run it and delete my backdoor if I wanted to delete it anytime in the future. If I do sessions L, I still have my session here, and I can interact with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kill that session. I'm going to kill all my sessions. And now if I list, I have no connections with the target computer, as you can see. And I'm going to go to use my exploit multi-handler so I can listen for incoming connections. And everything is configured correctly already on this. So I have my right port and my right IP. Now, if I exploit this right now, I'll get a connection straight away because my backdoor has been injected into the target computer on port 8080 on reverse HTTP. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm actually going to restart the target computer just to show you that I'll always have connection now with this computer. So I'm just going to do a normal restart. So this computer will basically try to connect back to me every 10 seconds. No matter how many times they restart it, they shut it down, every time this computer is running, it'll try to connect back to me in every 10 seconds. So all I have to do is run my interpreter handler and wait for connections. Now this computer is running, as you can see. It doesn't have to be at the startup when I'm listening. And I'm just gonna do exploit to listen. And it'll take a maximum of 10 seconds to get a connection back. And as you can see, I got a connection to the target computer. I can do sysinfo and run all the commands that we learned so far and have full access on that computer.